Welcome back to the Midlands Climate Conversations, where we explore critical environmental issues in the Midlands region and beyond. I'm your host, Tari Roleti Maderera. Today we're going to be tackling an important issue, which is the disproportionate impact of climate change on communities such as women and people with disabilities. Today my guest is Michelle Chimka, who is the Executive Director of Empowered Youth Generation. So Michelle, could you please explain to us, how has climate change affected women and people with disabilities in your community?
Climate change has direct impact on women's livelihoods as well as food security. In developing countries and Africa as a whole, women are responsible for collecting water, food, and fuel for their communities and for their households. With climate-induced droughts, floods, and extreme weather conditions, we find that women are negatively impacted as they have to walk for long hours in order to get access to water and to food. For instance, where I stay in Koba 6, when there is no water, women have to wait long hours in order to get access to it. This is an essential resource, and it means that they cannot have access to paid work. They wait long hours and they can't get involved in decision-making processes that affect them. When they get the water, they now have to store it. They have to use a lot of strength to get buckets and buckets of water. After that, they still have to carry out household chores. They have to do the washing, the cooking. All this while their work, their occupations, and their careers are on a standstill. At the end of the day, this heightens poverty ratios in Africa. Why? Because we're saying women are not becoming financially literate, financially stable, and they're not working hard for an income.
So Michelle, what do you propose we should do?
Personally, I think it is imperative for the City Council to have a stable timetable for water. This makes sure that women have equal access to opportunities and they can creatively plan their days in order to accommodate the water rationing that is currently happening in the Midlands province.
So Michelle, how have you faced climate change issues in your line of work?
Okay, so as I have stated earlier, at Empowered Youth Generation, we mainly deal with young people within the ages of 15 to 24, with special regard to children living in the streets and orphans. With the current El Nino drought that is going on as a result of climate change, we see that there are heightened issues of hunger and poverty among young people. So in order to combat this, what we are then trying to do is to introduce sustainable ways in which people can grow maybe drought-resistant crops, teaching them about the effects of climate change, what they can do to prevent climate change, mitigation strategies, prevention strategies, and what can be done as well to alleviate this problem from our society. We believe that young voices have a big part to play in the climate change issues, and we are the change that we want to see. So yeah, those are some of the things that we're seeing that are happening as a result of climate change to young people. Also, we've realized that there is a link between climate change and access to health and health services. When it comes to young women, they can't adequately carry out their hygiene processes when they are going through their menstrual cycles. We're talking about an issue where in Zwishavane, you only get 5 buckets of water for the whole week. How then is a young girl expected to effectively wash herself maybe 3 times a day?
So Michelle, what are you seeing as the gaps in your line of work?
Okay. So one thing that I've noticed is that non-governmental organizations are not working collaboratively together in order to address the climate change issues. We see that there are a lot of organizations out there that are doing great work, especially in the Midlands province, but we're doing them individually, not as a whole. This affects our strategies and our mitigation strategies because it means that this one is doing that, a little bit of that, this one is doubling into a little bit of that. But if we are able to pool resources together, we can make more impact. And we're actually really happy to be here today because the Midlands Climate Conversation is a platform where we all collaboratively in the NGO sector can come together and talk about these issues that are pivotal in our everyday lives.
From the Midlands Climate Conversations team, we'd like to thank you for being with us this week. Until next time, no one knows about it until we talk about it.